This is going to be the second video in the Chief Architect video series, and in this video I'm going to be talking about walls, windows, and doors. So these are going to be three of the basic things, the first things you think of when you think of building a house. So we're here in the default configuration, which is noted over here on the right side of your top toolbar. And you can see here, this is our straight walls, curved walls. This is the door symbol and windows. So this is going to be where we're doing most of the work today. So you'll notice if I click any of these, like the straight wall, it will come up with every different type of straight wall that Chief Architect offers here in this tool palette window on the left side of your screen. So if you're just starting your project and you're working on making all the exterior walls, it'll bring you every different type of exterior wall on the left side of your screen for quick access while you're doing it. So you can see this happens for anything, the curved walls, doors, or windows. So pretty much through this video, I'm going to be going through all the types of these different tools and what they do. So starting with the exterior walls, or the straight walls, excuse me. The first one is going to be a straight exterior wall. So when you select the tool, you can see it's highlighted in blue, has a nice check mark. And so you're just going to click and drag, and that is going to make your wall. And you notice if you move it around in a circle, you can see it looks really choppy and it's snapping every 10 degrees. And this is because of the angle lock, and this can be turned off if you want to down at the bottom right of the screen. I'll show you that. So you see this is really choppy. Now if I turn off angle lock, which is down here at the right side of the screen, now you see it's a very smooth motion, and it's not choppy anywhere because it's not going to lock to any certain angle. So if you have it off, it's going to be really hard for you to get a straight wall unless you hold shift and that turns back on the angle lock so you can get that perfectly straight wall. Because now I'm going to let go of shift and it's really hard to get the wall to be perfectly straight. So now that you see that, I'm going to turn back on angle snaps. And then the other way to create an exterior wall besides selecting the tool and clicking and dragging is if you go to a wall of the same type, see this straight exterior wall, you'll notice these two handlebars that are off the edge, one on the right side and one on the left side. And if you hold this, click and drag, it will create another wall off of the end of the previous wall. So you can do that from either side, the right or the left. And both of those will create a wall of the exact same type and the exact same customization that I'll go over in a later video. So that is the straight exterior wall. And then the other type of exterior wall is going to be the curved exterior wall. And this is with all the different curved walls right here. It's the first one you click on, and it's just as it sounds. You click and drag, and it's going to create you a curved wall. Now, it's kind of hard to control what the curve of the wall looks like when you first draw it. So if you need to change that for any reason, if you click on the wall, this little handlebar in the middle, you can change, not the handlebar in the middle, my bad, this triangle handlebar. The handlebar in the middle will change where the wall is located, keeping the same curve. But the small triangle handle on the side will change the curvature of the wall, keeping a smooth curve, but that's how you change how the wall is actually drawn, because when you do it the first time, you don't have very much control over how the wall curves. So that gives you control over what you want it to look like. So those are the main exterior walls you'll be using. So if I go back to straight walls, the other two main types of walls you'll be using is the straight interior and the curved interior wall. I haven't used any of these other types besides the room divider, which I'll go over in a second, ever before actually. So I won't be going over those, but the straight interior wall is just like it sounds. You just click and drag just like the exterior walls. The only thing different about these than the exterior walls is just the construction. You can see that it's much thinner. If I zoom in, the interior walls are much thinner than the exterior walls. So that's just a default setting. So that's the main difference between the two. And you'll also notice when I go into the camera view, the materials on the outside and inside of both of those are also different. So the curved interior wall you can find right here or in this tool palette. Works exactly the same. Click and drag. And then if you want to change the curvature, it's the little triangle And if you want to change the location, it's the one in the middle. And then the curved walls, like I noted before with the straight walls, also work the same way. If you click and drag off the end, it will create a straight wall of that type. So you can continue to draw off one wall like that. So the other type of thing I wanted to talk about is the room divider, which is under the straight walls. So if you click any of the straight walls, the room divider is the one next to the bottom in the tool palette. So pretty much what this does is it creates an invisible barrier between two rooms. So say I put one right here. There's nothing actually right now that's different between these two areas. This is just an invisible barrier, and I'll show you how that's useful. So in this picture of this living room, you can see it's what's called an open floor plan, where you can see they have their living room, their dining area, and their kitchen is all in the same area. There's no walls that are separating these different areas of the home. And this is a very common design for new modern houses that are being built. It allows you to communicate easier with people that are in traditionally different sections of the house. So how you would do this in Chief Architect is with those room dividers. And you can notice how in the kitchen and dining room, they have this type of flooring, this wood flooring here, this laminate. And in the kitchen, it's a different type of laminate flooring. So you would be able to control those two separately by using the room divider like we see here. So if I select on the left side, it's only selecting the area to the left and then only the area to the right. Although there's no actual physical thing that's separating the two rooms. And that's pretty much what the room divider does. So now I'll move on to doors. There's a lot of different types of doors, as you can see here. The most common when you think of doors is a hinge door, obviously. You just click on any wall and it creates a door. You can see interior doors and exterior doors. It creates differently based on whatever your default settings are. Mine may be different from yours, from other projects I've done. But let's just say you want an exterior hinge door. That's pretty common. So if you select on the hinge door, you'll see some options come up here at the bottom. We'll go into customization later, which is this door that's all the way on the left. But I want to bring your attention to these two that say change opening and change swing side. So pretty much what this does is you can see the door right now is on my left and it swings towards the exterior of the house. Now you can use these two buttons to say if you want it to swing to the inside of the house, you can change the swing side from outside to inside, and you can also change the hinge side to be the left or to the right. So you'll find yourself using this if when you place it down, it doesn't put it in the default orientation that you want. You can use these two buttons to change whichever side the door is looking. So outside of a hinge door, we have a doorway. This is pretty much just all this does is it makes a hole in the wall. I will show you what that looks like with the camera. This camera, you can see it right here. What you do is you click and you drag whichever direction you want the camera to point. So let's just point it right there. And once it loads up, you'll see a doorway is literally just a hole in the wall. So for you, if you want to have a camera view and navigate it, once you're in the camera view and you're on the mouse orbit camera selection, you use the scroll wheel to zoom in, zoom out, scroll up to zoom in, scroll down to zoom out. If you middle mouse click, that's how you pan. So you can see me moving around side to side with the holding middle mouse and dragging my mouse. And then if we alt click, that's how you orbit, you go in a circle. So that's how you change which direction you're looking. So that's the basic camera controls. So if we go back into the floor plan, we can look at all the other types of doors. Where are we? Doors. So sliding doors, those are really common. You know, if you're going to a pool area or exterior deck, those are very popular. You can see how it creates that right there. Pocket doors look like that. You can see that the door goes into the wall. It's very common in places where there's not a lot of space, or it's very common for bathrooms, so that there's not a door swinging into the bathroom space, and it doesn't have a very large footprint. And then the last type of interior doors is going to be a pocket door. This will look familiar if you have a closet that has that type of door. It slides left to right, and it also has the same options with the change swing side and the opening and hinge side as the other doors. And then last but not least is the garage door, which is exactly what it sounds. It's a garage door. It's really big compared to this house because this is very small, but that's just showing you what that is. And then finally, the last section is going to be windows. The main type is just your window. There's a lot of customization within your normal window, but we'll look into that later. But one thing I want to bring to your attention is how to change the size of a window if you've already have it placed. If you're not doing an exact measurement and you just want a different size, you can see there's a little handle on the side of the window right there. And so if you click and drag that, that'll change the size of the window, obviously, how wide it is. The other main type of window I want to call your attention to is the pass-through. So I will get in the camera view, which you can see right here in the other tab, and I'll show you the difference between the two. So on the left, what you see right now, that is the normal window. You see how it has the different panes of glass, and the pass-through is just a single hole. It doesn't really matter. They can be the same size or whatever, but the pass-through is just one single pane of glass, while the window is customizable, but it has multiple panes. And that is pretty much it for what I wanted to show you about walls, windows, and doors. In a later video, I will show you how to customize these and make them look a certain way you want. But if you've been following along today, you should have a pretty good idea of how to make your first floor plan for a basic house.